over there. Item number 5, please.
Item 5 is discussion on strata.
Councilor Matthews.
Good morning. It really wasn't supposed to be a discussion. It's supposed to be, I was requesting an update from Strata, not a discussion, an update on where they are, what's going on with the agreement that we entered into, what progress has been made from the standpoint of historic commissions and just where we are with our downtown. No one knows anything. If not, we can move on and probably, I guess I'll have to request that personally, and we could have a special call meeting for it instead of a planning session.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Matthews.
And Madam Chair, I guess
Yes,
for
sir.
now, if we could just kind of someone is talking.
Please mute, please mute, please mute, please mute your devices. Thank you. Yes, sir, Councilor Matthews.
Yes, I guess from hereafter we could probably look at what's on the agenda from, I guess, the word, and it just has discussion. And I too would have thought it would just been just discussion, but if the word update had been there, we would have known for someone to contact them. So I guess I'll start, well, I know what to do next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilor Matthews. Item number 6, I'm asking that be removed from the agenda. Councilors, Ms. Taylor, item number 7.
Item 7 is a discussion on attorney for counsel.
Councilors, I had that put on. This is just an update for you all. We have already started the interviewing of the attorney for the city council. We did 3 on last evening, and we will do 3 on Thursday. After we do those 3 counselors, we'll call a special meeting so that we can narrow it down and go ahead and get an attorney for the city council here in the city. Are there any concerns and or questions from the council? If not, are we ready? Number 4, UAB MHRC, Noble Grant update.
Excuse me,
Madam President, UAB is ready.
I'm sorry. As far as with the YouTube, the live streaming, I don't see it. Are we live? I saw the notice come saying that we're live streaming, but I don't see it on YouTube.
We're live, so we should be live streaming now. Is that what you're talking about, Counselor?
That is correct.
Madam President,
yes, sir.
We are live on YouTube, so I don't know what might be going on with Councilor Crusoe's phone, but we are streaming live.
Yes, I said I just saw. I see it now. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. It just may be a technical difficulty. Thank you so much. UAB, are you ready? Miss Carly, are you ready? Miss Osborne?
Yes, we are. Good morning.
This morning, how are you ladies doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Thank you so much.
Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to present once again. As many of you may know, Erin Carley has been our point person here in Bessemer. I am the Director of Community Engagement for the UAB Minority Health and Health Disparities Research Center. And just as a quick recap, we have enjoyed a long-standing relationship with the city of Bessemer, going all the way back to our REACH project, where we worked with some of the police officers. But most recently, we've been here for the past 4.5 years, working on a huge NIH-funded grant called the Obesity Health Disparities Research Center, where our Bessemer Coalition has been going strong with some many projects, including one of our most proud initiatives, the raised bed project that Aaron Carley spearheaded with We're Sowing Seeds. 25 Bessemer residents were able to get a free raised bed as well as plants to go in there. And so we believe at the MHRC about leveraging opportunities in communities that we are committed to, and we are certainly committed to this partnership in Bessemer. And which is one of the reasons why we chose this community to layer with the grant from the Department of Justice. And so we've been working on that project. And just to give you some of the updates and things that we've been doing over the past few months, in September of 2019, we established a partnership advisory board. Representatives of that board include the Bessemer Police Department, the Housing Authority, our Bessemer BHC Coalition that I just mentioned, Bessemer City Schools, just lay residents in Bessemer, victims of crime, and then individuals with lived experiences. And with the help of the PA board, we've conducted key informant interviews to assess the community perceptions of violence and crime in Bessemer, and focus groups even to assess the potential interventions that would address crime and violence in Bessemer. So this is a part of this huge project that we've been working on with the Bessemer Police Department and Noble. And so what we have found of those interviews, the consensus was that many young people are primarily responsible for the crime happening in the area due to a lack of involvement in the community, jobs, mentorships, and some of them even mentioned to us unstable living conditions. And so, in short, by being involved in the crime, the idea is that they're trying to meet basic needs with what they say is very little structure, guidance, and even some resources. And so there's also a huge population of individuals with addictions and mental health needs who indicated they are not receiving the help that they need. And so we have also worked very closely with the Bessemer Police Department to analyze trends and data regarding specific locations and instances of crime and violence. And so as a next step, what we're hoping to do is to do some more surveys and talk with residents about what they think a top priority should be when addressing crime in Bessemer. And so we're going to be participating in the carnival that's hosted by the rec center, administering surveys there. And individuals who participate will get a $15 CLIN card for completing a 7-minute survey. And so we certainly would ask your help in encouraging individuals to not only attend this carnival, but also participate in this next step of the research, because I think that's also going to give us some really good usable data. We are in the process of drafting a proposal to submit to the DOJ, and that proposal is going to allow us an opportunity to request funding to implement interventions that the community has suggested would be best positioned to reduce crime in Bessemer. And so right now, 11 organizations have submitted proposals for funding and either are located in Bessemer or they have the capacity to expand into Bessemer. That's one thing that we believe within the MHRC is looking for opportunities to build capacity and, as I mentioned, to overlay resources. And so we're going to begin that selection process to determine who is the best able to carry out the functions of the intervention plan. And so there's a lot going on, a lot that's been happening behind the scenes with Erin Carley, and she's just done an amazing job of pulling these pieces together. And so we just wanted to provide an update to you so you can know where we are with the DOJ, but not only that, but just other projects that we have going on in Bessemer. You may recall that our mobile market has been coming through the Bessemer area, and we are also working with a strong business partner here in Bessemer to be able to bring wellness and prevention opportunities here. So with that, I want to press pause and see if there are any questions of myself or Erin about the specifics of the DOJ.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
This is Councilor Crusoe.
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
No problem. First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Carley and Ms. Osborne for taking the time to come out to give us an update. And thank you all for everything that you're doing. My question, I heard Mrs. Osborne mention about a carnival at the rec. I mean, is this something that's that has been discussed, or I mean, is this something that, because I haven't heard anything about a carnival in order for the survey to be conducted. As far as with the mobile market, I've been seeing it on Facebook, and again, kudos to you and thanks for the services that you all render here in the city of Bessemer. My question is, as to with the mobile market, the carnival, and some of the other things that you said that you all have been busy doing in the city of Bessemer, with whom are these meetings being held with, as far as with the planning of these events? And because, like I said, the only time that I've seen anything, and initially when I first heard about these funds, I was being told that calls were being unanswered for 6 months, 8 months, for quite some time, trying to get somebody who was willing to work along with UAB in order to utilize these funds. So to go from no calls being answered to now carnivals, mobile markets, and things of that sort, where and with whom are these meetings being held?
If I might address that question. So the carnival is not a project of the UAB MHRC. This is something I believe that the rec center is putting on, and we are merely participating in this event. So this is a Bessemer event. It is not a part of the DOJ. We just merely see it as an opportunity to capitalize on the individuals who may participate at this event, so that we can approach those individuals while they are at the rec center sponsored event to get our surveys administered. As for the mobile market, we've had a few conversations with some of our partners at the housing authority, because the mobile market does come through that area. And so we did have a conversation with them about being able to park the mobile market there. And I believe that Erin has also had a few conversations with some of the district representatives of the best location to be able to put the mobile market. And so hopefully that answers a few of your questions.
Madam President.
Yes, sir. Mayor Gully.
Ms. Osborne, I thank you and Ms. Carley for what you all do and what you are doing for the city of Bessemer as well. But the carnival that's being planned for Thursday at the rec center, Mr. Woodard came up to this body and told you all that he was putting together an event to celebrate 5 years of the rec center. He came and did an extensive presentation and stuff to the mayor and council and stuff concerning and stuff that. So that's what the carnival and stuff is for. It is a free carnival celebrating 5 years of existence for the Bessemer Rec Center. But anytime you're having something, an event of this nature, yes, I encourage everybody to come out and celebrate the community, but also if you and stuff can, as much substance as you can add to it as possible, We appreciate that, and that's where UAB comes in. So we do want to thank you and so for what you're doing to assist us.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am, Councilor Crusoe.
Again, like as I aforementioned, as far as with Ms. Osborne and Ms. Carly, I greatly appreciate everything that you all are doing, and we look forward to continuing to work with you. Mayor Gully, I recall Mr. Woodard coming before the council and mentioned talking concerning this carnival, but with Ms. Osborne in her presentation, it was conveyed as if misconveyed on my behalf as a carnival that was being presented on their behalf. I didn't know that they were talking about the same carnival, but again, thank you for the clarity.
Thank you, Ms. Carly and Ms. Osborne, for your presentation. And I must say, again, thank you for all that you do here in the city of Bessemer. And don't think what you're doing over in the housing units, low-income housing units, is going unnoticed. I see you. I see you. Thank you so much to the both of you. Any other questions and or concerns, councilors?
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you all for what you do. Will you have the mobile market outside of the housing communities in other parts of the neighborhoods?
So the mobile market is a part of our statewide plan called Live Health Smart Alabama. And we are looking for opportunities to expand unapologetically. It takes resources to bring these sorts of programs and services to the various communities that we serve. And so we are always looking to identify additional funding. It is our hope to be able to have a fleet of mobile markets. We are currently operating on a schedule that takes us to approximately 5 to 7 communities over the course of a month. And so right now we're trying to go to areas that have the greatest need within the specific communities. For example, within Bessemer, that is the location that we are currently going to.
Okay.
We hope to be able to add more locations as our resources are increased. But we are in some Birmingham neighborhoods where we just have one stop there. And so just as resources come available, we're certainly happy to entertain the ideas of more stops for the mobile market, and would love to have those conversations with you.
Also, I heard you speak of funding or organizations that put applications in for grants to provide services. Now, how can other organizations find out about this information so they can apply?
Absolutely. Erin Carley's been very instrumental in pulling together the proposals and reaching out to partners. This project is her baby. So I'm going to let her address that particular question.
Thank you. Great question. So we have been in the process of accepting applications from individuals since early last week. I emailed members of the community here in Bessemer. I sent that information to members of our partnership advisory board. I sent that information to members of the coalition, and I even sent the information to the mayor's office. And so if there's an organization in particular that you think would be a great fit, I'm more than happy to receive their contact information with you and extend an opportunity for them to apply as well. I'll be honest with you, we are pushing the close deadline to getting these applications in and going ahead and reviewing, but I really do want as much representation from Bessemer as possible. And so, if there is an organization or several organizations that you think would be a great fit, we can have a conversation and get them their application in as well.
Can someone from the mayor's office email us the information. That way we could get with Miss Carly. If
And
so.
I'll also put my email in the chat as well. And so if you guys have any questions or any concerns or just something that you want to speak with me directly about, I'm more than happy to be available to you guys.
And we're happy to send that to the mayor's office. And then they can, if they can share it, we certainly would appreciate them sharing it. But yes, we can send that information in an email.
Ms. Osborne, when you send that information to the mayor's office, please send it to, you can send it to me and I'll distribute it with the counselors. That's District 3 at bessemeral.org. I will in turn distribute it to the counselors because we're not always here during the week, and the mayor has so much on his hands till sometimes it does not trickle down. But if you would send that information to me at District 3 at bessemeral.org, we will make sure that each and every counselor receives that information. Again, thank you all for coming, and thank you all for all that you do for the city of Bessemer.
We're happy to. We're so elated for this partnership and look forward to continued relations with you.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye
You too.
now.
Bye-bye.
Item number 5, Ms. Taylor.
Discussion on strata.
We just spoke about that one earlier.
We did speak about it, but Strata is here now.
Oh, they are?
So,
Okay.
yes, since they're here, we
Oh,
need
I
to-
didn't know that wasn't said. Okay.
Yes, sir. Strata is here. And I thought you saw Miss George when she stepped up to the podium. I do apologize. Strata is here. Miss George, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing,
I'm
Madam
good.
President?
I am good. I am good.
And good-
The floor is yours.
All right. Good morning to the council and to the mayor and to everyone that's on this meeting. We're here to provide a status update on where we are with work order 3 and work order 2. Work order 2 is the reestablishment of the Bessemer Historic Preservation Commission. And work order 3 is the development of the city of Bessemer's opportunity zone investment perspectives. And currently, we are almost completed with the reestablishment of the Bessemer Historic Preservation Commission. We are at 95% completion. We have a organizational meeting that Strata will facilitate on October the 26th with the commission. And we do have a set of draft design guides that will go through the commission and eventually come before your desk after we have given it over to the commission. We are 45% complete with the investment perspectives, and most of that is actually just writing it. And we anticipate providing a draft copy of the investment perspectives in the next 30 days to you all.
Thank you, Ms. George. Councilor Matthews, are there any more questions and or concerns?
Yes, Madam Chair. You said you were 90% complete.
95%.
95% complete.
Yes, sir. We had
what's the I guess, can you just say what the other 5% entails?
The other 5% entails the organizational meeting of the commission, which we will facilitate and with them and provide them with the draft of the historic design, the historic district design guidelines.
Okay.
Which
and as far as, go ahead.
We do have a draft copy already, but it has gone through one round of reviews already. And so it'll be ready for the commission to review on their actual date that they'll meet on the 26th.
Okay, and I guess let me ask a question concerning marketing. And I know we are not at that stage at this point, but, and Mr. Waters may, well, you may yourself, when it comes down to marketing our downtown, at what, I guess, at what phase would that be in to market and to let people or interested parties know what's available?
We have in that scope of work, we have a stakeholder engagement strategy that we would provide, which is basically a marketing strategy on how to utilize the investment prospectus to attract different developers. It's not a sure thing, of course. However, that is provided with that came along with the scope of work.
Actually, that didn't come with the scope. That's the next phase after the investment prospectus. We haven't. So to answer your question, Councilor Matthews, is we haven't got to that scope yet. We've discussed it with the mayor's office, and we believe that may be the next scope because that was his interest as well. But that your interest or your question about the marketing of downtown development, we haven't gotten to that scope yet. So we're hoping it's coming up next.
Okay.
Those are two separate things. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And then in that, and like you said, that's future, but also
yes, sir.
You'll be taking inventory as well. Am I correct?
Well, we in our physical asset review within the data collection that we have done, we do have an inventory that we've done a cursory physical asset review, which we did take stock in inventory of the different infrastructure and the different assets that are within the city. That data is needed to build the actual prospectus itself, which is a marketing piece. The investment prospectus is a marketing piece specifically for the designated opportunity zone, not the entire downtown, but the entire downtown is a part of the opportunity zone. So
right. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. I'll let someone else go now.
Council, as you've heard, Strata, are there any more questions and or concerns? I think my concern comes with the next phase. When will we see the marketing of downtown Bessemer? That comes with the next phase. Is that correct, Ms. George?
yes, ma'am, that is correct.
So
That is my question to Strata, because I'm ready to see some movement downtown Bessemer.
And I
Madam
would like,
Chair,
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am, Councilor Crusoe.
thank you so much. Maybe I missed it. Roughly, can you, I guess, give us an estimate as far as on the time? We're speaking in terms of another week, month, 6 months, about, I mean, roughly how much?
Another month. And at the end of this month, the establishment of the Historic Preservation Commission, that project will be totally completed. And then we are in the phase of actually writing the document right now. It was a task to receive some of the data and information that we needed to receive.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. George, upon doing your assessment and the stakeholders in downtown, do we have a lot of stakeholders, or is it just one or two or three stakeholders that own several buildings downtown?
Well, anyone that's in the actual opportunity zone is a stakeholder in this particular region. So I would say that roughly there's like 900 something buildings downtown, and all of those owners are a part of the stakeholders in that area. So I would say that's a significant amount. Also, the courthouse, anything that's within the opportunity zone itself. Any business owners, any homes that are in that zone, they are a part of that. Counselor Alexander.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to know, was it, several stakeholders or just a couple of stakeholders
No,
that own several properties or whatever? I'm talking about in the downtown area.
yes, ma'am.
And I made and Dorothy, you tell me if I'm correct, when we did the
The physical asset
asset,
review.
yeah, we only took, that information came from public documents. I don't think we actually had stakeholder meetings with them yet. That part comes when we start the actual downtown redevelopment plan.
Okay, thank you so much.
Madam Chair,
But we'll have.
Yes, sir.
Ms. George, good morning to you,
Good-
Mr. Edmund.
Good morning.
My question is regarding the commission. You talk about that being 95% complete. Is that the documentation to be certified?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So that does not, the next step after you get certified and get an order would then be to populate the commission. Is that correct?
Well, the commission is you all have appointed the commission already.
We've already, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So y'all are just finishing up on the documentation.
Yes, sir. Assisting them in getting going.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think we do have an open seat on that commission. And I was gonna ask, since Councilor Crusoe.
Oh, wait, Counselor Alexander, we're talking about the commission. We're not talking about the downtown redevelopment board.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
talking about the commission. The commission came from appointments from Mayor Gully that we approved. Now, what you're speaking of is the downtown redevelopment board. And yes, ma'am, we do have an open seat there because we had a resignation from Mr. Dave Page, who was the president of that at that time of the board. I think that is what you're speaking of. Is that correct, Counselor?
That's correct. I was wondering, do they report to the Downtown Development Board as well, being that they'll probably be working closely with the commission on this project?
Okay, but you can, now that we've cleared up the difference between the board and the commission, now what was your question or your comment?
I was asking, when were we gonna appoint someone to the board, being that we do have an open seat?
Counselor Alexander, we truly need to get someone on that board because it's just a 3-person board. And there needs to be a 3rd person on that board. So what I would, and if I was reading correctly, Attorney Payton, are you on the line? Attorney Payton, or a representative?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
good morning. How are you?
Good.
Good. Let me ask a question now. As I was reading, we do not have to go back through the stages. We can just appoint a person. Is that correct?
I would think since there is a vacancy, the ordinance says that whenever there's a vacancy, you would advertise for that vacancy. So I believe you would have to advertise.
You have to.
Yes, ma'am, because you appointed someone, he served for whatever short period of time, but then he resigned, creating a vacancy. And so since a vacancy has been created, I believe you would advertise again.
So Counselor Alexander, since that vacancy is open, I would ask that a resolution comes from the attorney's office so that we can start advertising for that position.
Yes, ma'am. We'll have that ready for you next.
Yes, sir. If that's okay with this body, we can go ahead and get a resolution on next week where we can vote to go ahead and start advertising for that position.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Are there any more questions and or concerns, counselors, for Strata? If there's not, thank you, Ms. George. Thank you, Mr. Waters,
Thank
for all
you.
that you do for the city of Bessemer. I am waiting to see the city of Bessemer bloom.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
waiting to see it. I am waiting to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Item number 8, please.
Item 8, status of Facebook Live.
I placed that on there. Mayor Gully, Mr. Singleton.
Madam President, I'm not, Mr. Singleton informed me that he was still working on
Yes,
that
sir.
RFP.
Yes, sir.
And as soon as he gets the RFP, I'll submit it and stuff to legal and stuff to look over it and get it to you all as soon and stuff as possible.
Yes, sir. I'll just keep that on the agenda so that that won't get lost in the shuffle. Thank you so much, Mayor Gully. Are there any questions from any counselor or concern?
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is to Mayor Gully. Mayor Gully, as far as with a time span for concerning this RFP, do you have an idea on that?
No, ma'am, as I forestated, that we will expedite it and so as fast as we can, but I can't give a time frame when you're working on an RFP, when it's submitted and stuff to me. I'll submit it to the legal, as I said, and I'll get it to you as soon as possible. I can't give you a time frame and stuff on working on the RFP.
Yes, sir. I mean, I understand what you just said. I heard you, but you've been saying that for quite some time now.
That's incorrect. That's the first time that I stated that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Item number 9, please.
Item 9 is a discussion on right-of-way deed for real property conveyed from the Industrial Development Board of the City of Bessemer to the City of Bessemer.
Attorney Payton and or EEFS.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Daniel Mayfield. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, this is an existing paved road between 2nd Avenue East and 3rd Avenue East in Bessemer. And this, you should have before you in your packet a right-of-way deed with a legal description and a sketch provided. And the property, if you'll look on the sketch, this piece of property that's hatched there between 2nd Avenue East and 3rd Avenue East is a piece owned by the Bessemer Industrial Development Board that never got platted or deeded over. It's in the backside of the Mountain View Industrial Park. It is not part of the industrial park. It's just a piece sitting out there with the existing paved road on it, and we're looking to get that cleaned up. And it's my understanding the IDB was going to donate that to the city of Bessemer if this body accepts it for right of way, and we're just trying to get that cleaned up. And there is an existing paved road already there that connects this 2nd Avenue East and 3rd Avenue East to each other.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, yes. Who's calling for me?
Councilor Crusoe.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel, for that information. I heard you mention that they were willing to deed it to the city of Bessemer upon our agreement on this right away. Is that correct?
That is my understanding. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is it any way we can get that in writing as well?
I think it's in your packet here. Shan may can speak to that further, but there's a resolution here With the Bessemer IDB, I think that they would execute regarding that, to give that to the city.
Yes, sir. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, ma'am. The
Madam Chair.
IDB, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is Shan, yes, the IDB met on the 5th of the month and passed a resolution authorizing the property to be conveyed to the city of Bessemer.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
This off Morgan Road, Daniel.
It's off of Second Avenue East, and
Oh,
Third Avenue East.
That's up
right
in
there
old
above-
Raymond, Raymond Hollow.
Between Jonesboro School and Raymond.
Raymond.
Okay, I got you now. Okay. You can go up to Fairfax.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That's-
right.
Okay, yeah, I got it now. I got it.
Madam Chair. Go ahead,
Hold on,
Councilor.
one other
Are you
question.
finished, Councilor Matthews?
No, one other question. And I guess my question would be this: is there any future need for the city of Bessemer to have this? I'm just asking.
Well,
I heard you say you wanted to clean it up.
We could, the city could probably claim prescriptive rights. There's been a road there for quite a while, Councilor Matthews.
Yeah.
I think the main thing we're asking is just to clean it up. So when the city does work maintaining the road and et cetera, that we're working on city right away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna mention that's up in District 5 and an area that some people know as Happy Hollow. And it, of course, as the engineers have said, it is already a paved road, but there's some cleanup work that needs to be done, for the right of way. Thank you.
I went up after speaking with Attorney Payton on yesterday. I did find that road. There's not just some cleanup work. There's a lot of cleanup work that needs to be done. Actually, the whole hollow needs to be cleaned, but there's a lot of cleanup work that needs to be done right there with that with that particular piece of property. Councilors, are there any more questions and or concerns?
I know I have a comment.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The hollow doesn't need any more cleaning than some other areas in the city. Thank you.
You're more than welcome, and I do agree with that, especially District 3. We'll add this, Ms. Coleman, we'll add this to the agenda for next week. Item number 10, please.
Item 10 is a discussion on Lot F, previously conveyed to Bessemer Caraway Medical Center.
Attorney Payton.
Yes, ma'am. I was contacted by UAB's attorney a little over 2 weeks ago regarding this parcel. It's called Lot F of the Bessemer Medical West facility. It is a tract that is the parking lot out there at the intersection of Memorial Drive and Highway 11. The property was conveyed by the city of Bessemer in 1978 to Bessemer Caraway Medical Center, and through the years was then conveyed to UAB Medical West, and now UAB Medical West is UAB Health Systems. It appears that the title company, when they were doing research, saw that the property was still being assessed by the city of Bessemer for ad valorem tax purposes. So the city of Bessemer, of course, is exempt from ad valorem tax purposes as well as UAB Health Systems. So the only thing that has been paid, I think, by the city of Bessemer through the years has been the $15 storm fee. But UAB is attempting to clear this tract, I think, in relation to a financing project that they have, and the title company requested a quitclaim deed from the city of Bessemer. So that's what this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed to UAB Health Systems.
Now, let me ask a question. As I went out, Attorney Payton, this is the parking area that's right next to the old Huddle House. Is that correct?
It's right. I don't think it's right next to that. I think it's the one that's right next to Memorial Drive and Highway 11, right there.
That is the one attached to the emergency department.
On the other side, you know, where the dentist office is, right across the street from it. Right. Not on the emergency side, but the
professional building side.
Yes, ma'am. The professional building side. Yes, ma'am.
Apparently, these addresses are wrong because the address that this property, I went to the tax assessor's office, and this property is that the address on this property that we have in here is the property next to the Huddle House.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will get the plat map and have it next week so that you can look at. So in case you're correct, at least you'll know that. So I will do that.
And I'll place it back on the agenda for next week. And I will go to the assessor's office and look at the maps that they have there and on today to see whether or not, because I couldn't understand, we were saying across from the dentist's office, but the address was the enclosed fenced area right there next to the old Huddle House. So
Well,
I'll
yes,
Madam Chair.
yes, sir. Yes,
Uh,
sir. Councilor Matthews.
I just heard two different descriptions. Now, the one that Attorney Payton mentioned is that is when you going, I guess, when you turn off Bessemer Highway onto Memorial Drive. Attorney Payton, were you talking about right to your right in the corner of that parking lot?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was my understanding of where the tract is. So it's lot
Okay.
F, but I'm going to pull that and make certain, but that's where I thought it was. Yes, sir.
Okay, and Council Dawn, you were saying it's the next, you said Huddle House, the old omelet shop where it used to be to the right of the existing parking lot, right?
You know, if you the omelet shop was right there, now it's a wing place. If you stand directly in front of it and look to your left right there is an enclosed area that is used by UAB Medical Center West for parking. And that is where this address pops up to that address. I mean, I'm sorry, to that parking. But I wanted to make sure of the parking lot that we're talking about. We are talking about a parking lot. Well, let us be sure of the parking lot that we're talking about.
Which location? Okay, I got you. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to get a little more clarity on this. I think we're moving kind of fast well, my question is, we said back in 1978, this property was sold to with Bessemer Caraway and not conveyed to them. Is that what you said, Attorney Payton?
No, ma'am. It was actually conveyed. It was, in fact, in your package, the deed, the last document in there is the deed, and there's a resolution of the city commission at that time. And then the last document in there is the deed where it was conveyed to Bessemer Caraway Medical Center for the sum of $63,000. And that's Lot F, map book 17, page 92. That was July the 20th of 1978.
Okay, was the procedure in 78 the same as to surplus and property, excuse me, in order to convey it?
Yes, ma'am. And
do we have any records of that or any proof of purchase? Do we have any type of documentation?
Yes, ma'am. It's in your package.
I didn't see
So
it.
it's the very last pages in there. It's the ordinance. It's ordinance number 2020, and it's Bessemer Real 353, page 105. That is the ordinance where they declared it surplus, and then they authorized the mayor to execute a deed to Bessemer Caraway Medical Center for the sum of $63,000. And the very next document in the probate records is the deed, and that is found at Real 353, page 108. So it was then conveyed, and all of that was recorded at the same time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am, Counselor.
you stated that you went to the tax assessor's office about this property. What
ma'am.
were your findings?
My findings at the tax assessor's office was that this property has never been recorded in Bessemer Caraway's name and or UAB Medical Center West. It was always in the city of Bessemer, and the city of Bessemer has paid the 43 years of storm water for this property. But my question, and that's what I found, and they're pulling the map books for me today, and I'm going to go back over today and check some things today. But being that I'm not a realtor, and I guess this question would be with Counselor Thigpen and or Counselor Crusoe, I did ask to pull the resolution number 2020 from here in the city of Bessemer. And for some foreseen reason, that resolution 2020, the city clerk did say that was in 1978. But for some unforeseen reason, we cannot find the documents. And she did explain that a lot of documents were missing because of water damage at the old city hall. I will go back over today and I will contact Attorney Payton while I'm there. But my suggestion to this body is, and this is just my personal suggestion to this body, let us and or wait until we get hear from Attorney Payton on whether or not is the lot by the dentist office or the lot next to the omelet shop / huddle house, to make sure that the property that we're speaking on is the property that we're speaking on. And then as I look more into this, I would ask, since we did not, because I don't want a citizen to come back and sue this body because of what we did here today and or next week. I would rather us get a second opinion instead of quick claiming this deed so quickly. And I would that is my suggestion to this body, that we get a second opinion and or wait until we hear from Attorney Payton to make sure that the property that we're speaking of is in actuality the property that's in the deed, that we have the deed for. Counselors, any concerns and or questions?
Madam Chair.
Counselor Crusoe.
Yes, ma'am. It's not so much as far as a real estate issue. My concern, if you from 1978 up until 2021, the burden of proof lies with them as far as improving that they made this purchase with the city of Bessemer, and without any type proof, then I think we need to be as stern concerning this property as we were about 1705 24th Street for 6-7 months. We don't have anything to give away.
Madam President, this is Shan. If I could speak on this, just.
Yes, sir, Attorney Payton.
All right, so you do have evidence. The deed from the city of Bessemer to Bessemer Caraway Medical Center was recorded in the probate office. There's no question but that the deed for Lot F was conveyed from the city to Bessemer Caraway Medical Center, and that there was an ordinance authorizing that deed to be conveyed. The title company that prepared the title opinion and researched the title also concluded that this property was properly conveyed to Bessemer Caraway Medical Center by the city of Bessemer. What the hitch is that for whatever reason, UAB or Bessemer Caraway Center at that time, Medical Center, did not assess the property for ad valorem tax purposes in their name. Now, the next part of that, though, is that UAB Midwest and Bessemer Caraway has been in possession of this property since that time, openly, notoriously, exclusively, continuously, all of the elements that would be needed, even if they didn't have a deed. So I think it's pretty clear that they are the title holder to this property. So I'm just, if there's any questions, y'all feel free to call me, but I have researched this and look at the documents on this.
Yes, sir. And which title company what is that, Attorney Payton?
All right, it is First American Title. Let me look. The title commitment is also in your package, and that was issued by the title group, which is a title agent for First American Title. And the title group is located in Birmingham, 2101 First Avenue North, Birmingham.
Madam President.
Yes, sir, Councilor Collins.
So the only thing we are uncertain about is the lot. With all the information that the attorney has provided in the pack, that's the only thing that we're uncertain about is where the lot is. That's the whole discussion, right?
Yes, sir, we're waiting to see where the lot is.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
That's not the only.
Yes.
Hold on,
Everything, yes.
Counselor.
Sir.
What we see here, Councilor Collier, yes, but I would, as I stated, at 43 years, I just don't feel comfortable, personally, quick deeding this property without a second opinion. That is just my opinion, Councilor Collier, Councilor Crusoe.
No, it was Councilor Alexander.
I'm sorry, Councilor Alexander.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was gonna ask, can we wait till the council body get representation? Because we are in the midst of hiring our own personal attorney. And I think that our attorney will work best in the council's favor. I mean, that's who they'll be working for. That's my suggestion. I mean, is it a rush that we got to do this?
Well,
is it a rush?
It is on behalf of UAB's part. UAB is trying to complete a refinance, and they wanted you guys to do this on October the 7th, but Councilor Donald wanted to bring this before the council at the planning session. So they're trying, I believe, to get this property refinanced prior to interest rates going up, as interest rates are moving up.
I just want to rebuttal to that. Now, last week and weeks prior, months prior, we had been dealing with the 1705 24th Street, and it wasn't of an emergency. But now, this is of an emergency. I think we should wait till we get our own counsel.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor.
Madam Chair.
That property, one moment, please. That property has closed. The only thing I think we're waiting on that property now is that she receives her deeds. She has already paid what needs to be paid and done what needs to be done. We're just waiting to receive the deeds. But go ahead, Counselor Collier.
I'm sorry, that was a different issue. You know, that was a price situation. But this right here is just some clarification, some clear up. And that's all we waiting for. So that's the difference on that 1705 and this right here.
I just don't want to be like other administrations and give property away just because.
Thank you, Counselor Collier,
Documentation.
Counselor Collier, and Counselor Alexander. Thank you so much, Counselor Marshall.
I was simply going to say that there's no comparison with that house as far as, you know, trying to say that this is more important. This is more important. I mean, this is a large stakeholder in the city. The attorney has the documentation. As Councilor Collier said, the only issue is which is the right lot. And that is the only issue. I mean,
that's a stakeholder that's leaving the city of Bessemer. They're leaving the city of Bessemer. They're not going to use Bessemer fire, water, utilities, or anything. And you still saying they are a major stakeholder in the city of Bessemer.
Counselor Alexander, Counselor Marshall, we will wait.
Let me say this. Let me say this, Counselor.
Until we hear from Attorney Payton.
Counselor Donald, I was speaking. Now you invariably allow Counselor Alexander to always cut across me.
No, sir, I do not.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Counselor Marshall, it won't be with you today. If you want to speak, go ahead and speak, Counselor Marshall.
I was speaking.
Go ahead and speak, Counselor Marshall. I won't say it again. Go ahead and speak, Counselor Marshall.
I just want to make the point.
Go ahead and make your point and move on, Counselor Marshall.
Well, why don't you be quiet?
Who are you telling to be quiet? Who are you to tell somebody to be quiet? You have lost your ever-loving mind to tell me to be quiet.
Point of order.
You have lost your mind. Now, I don't have to. I've already acknowledged you twice. I don't have to acknowledge you, Counselor Marshall, but I have told you to go ahead and do what you
Well, you keep talking.
Whether you think you at home or just where you think you are, you don't tell me to be quiet. Who do you think you are? You are no more than anyone else on this body. You are not. You don't have any more sense than anybody else on this body. Your degree don't mean anything more than anybody else on this body. Now,
well, if you would be quiet, he could speak.
If you would shut up,
oh wow!
He could speak. If you would hush,
Point of order.
Now I will go back quietly and say, as I said, Counselor Marshall, go ahead and finish your statement. And you and Donna Thickpen don't tell me to be quiet. Get your own children and rule your own house. That's what you can do. Now, Counselor Marshall, go ahead with your statement.
I was simply saying to you.
Go ahead.
Well, but be quiet then.
Alexander,
be
allow
quiet.
him to finish. Allow
be
him
quiet.
to finish his. Counselor Alexander, allow Counselor Marshall to finish his statement, please.
I haven't said anything.
Okay, go ahead, Counselor Marshall.
This is not the first time that I have been speaking. Counselor Alexander abruptly comes in and cuts across what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is that you're not controlling that. You allow her to just butt in whenever she wants to butt in. Now I'm finished with it. Now you got upset.
You're finished with it, but that's not true,
Madam Chair.
Marshall, that's not true.
I'm
finished with that conversation. We'll wait until we hear from Attorney Payton, and I'll place it back on the agenda for next week's meeting. Is that all right with this body?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am, Counselor Crusoe.
Just a quick statement. I think we all just need to self-reflect. You know, I mean, we're pointing out how we're being cut off in the middle of statements. But I mean, the same behavior takes place, an offense takes place when other counselors are talking. Even when Madam President is talking, I mean, some of the counselors are blatantly disrespectful. So, I mean, I hope that we take this experience, go back and look at it if need be, to see just how it looks. Apparently you just showed us how it feels to be cut off in the middle of conversation. Thank you.
Madam President.
Councilor Collins, yeah.
So the only thing we're waiting for is just to be clear, the only thing we're waiting for is clarification from Shan, and we have right to vote on it next week if we choose to.
If the majority of this body choose to vote on next week, as I said, we are waiting for clarity. You're absolutely right. And if the majority of this body choose to quitclaim that property to now UAB Medical Center West that once was Bessemer Caraway, that is the majority of this body. Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're welcome. Item number 11, please.
Item 11 is a status on traffic light upgrade on Dartmouth Avenue and 22nd Avenue.
Councilors, I place this on sitting on a neighbor's porch there on Dartmouth Avenue between 22nd and 23rd Street. The bus let the child out at the corner there, and another pedestrian almost was maimed and or lost their life there. We have had one who stepped off the bus, Miss Susie Furr, and she did tell me that I could use her name. And she would come. Miss Susie Furr is maimed now, and I say maimed because Miss Furr cannot, her leg and her arm, right leg and right arm. Now I'm asking for a status on this traffic light here on Dartmouth Avenue. I remember we started to study, and as I go back and read my paperwork, we started to study, but there was not a final status. I can remember that Chief Roper stated that the counters that goes across the street was damaged, and I never heard anything else from that study. I'm asking for a status on that traffic light at Dartmouth and 22nd Street. I come to this body and we're asking for a traffic light. Now, as we ride the city, and we ride the city at least once a day, over on 24th Street and 11th Avenue, we have 8 traffic lights there that does not have the traffic that Dartmouth Avenue have, and they were placed there prior to my coming on the council. The only thing that I asked this body for District 3, for safety of some child and or citizen in District 3, is that we do a study and place a traffic light there. That is where District 3 and District 7 joins on 22nd Street and Dartmouth Avenue. Chief Roper, are you on the line? Chief Roper. Mayor Gully is Chief Roper.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Chief. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Do you remember that study? Or if you don't, you can bring it back on, get back with me on next week of the study on that traffic light right there at Dartmouth Avenue and 22nd Street. I do know that you were on the police department at the time Miss Susie Furr got hit right there in the 2400 block of Dartmouth Avenue when she stepped off the school bus. Do you remember at this time? If not, I'll put it back on the agenda to, I'll put it back on the agenda to be, a status on it for next week.
Madam Chair, I will forward you a copy of the last study that was done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. And I will forward a copy to each of the counselors, but I asked this body to really give some thought to a traffic light there on Dartmouth Avenue and 22nd Street, item number 12.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to just speak to that briefly as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And I mean, first of all, I want to commend you with your tenacity to remain on top of this subject. I mean, you beat me to it. Every meeting. I'm only 3 houses away from this intersection, and you are absolutely positively correct. It is one of the most dangerous intersections. Well, if not the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous intersections here in District 7. And as you stated, this intersection is really what joins District 3 and District 7 together. It's a daily thing, several times a day, where we hear cars sliding, even with people stepping down off of the school buses, Max bus, pedestrians just crossing the street. And I too ask that the other counselors would agree with us as far as in doing what we have to do to take the necessary steps to put safety measures in place for our citizens. Thank you again, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other counselor? If not, item number 12, please.
Item 12, status on closing report for Count Bessemer.
Thank you so much, Ms. Taylor. Mayor Gully, I placed that on. Are we nearing a closing report on Camp Bessemer?
Madam President, I'll reach out to the director and stuff of Camp Bessemer. As you can recall, our previous director stepped down, and I think that may have been an issue and so with closing documentations and stuff of such. So I will reach out to coordinator Camp Bessemer and see if they're available to come and give us a report.
Thank you so much, Mayor Gully. Item number 13, please.
Discussion on EEFS contract.
Councilor Alexander.
Yes, Madam Chair, I placed that on, but I'm looking at the time. So I would ask this body, can we just, I guess, have another discussion or a meeting outside of the planning session about the contract of EEFS?
So you're asking that we delete today and call a special meeting for this this discussion, Counselor?
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 13, deleted. Item number 14, please.
Discussion on property located at 1121 9th Avenue Southwest, Nice Inn, Haven Incorporated.
Councilor Matthews. Councilor Matthews.
Start talking and didn't even touch the mute button. We did have some we did get an update last week from Attorney Payton concerning the court date for this month for that entity. We've had several complaints from business owners adjacent to the old Knights Inn site, mainly Town and Country Ford from vandalisms and all kind of things. And then just wide open for people's vagrants and whoever to go down in that hole. At one time it was security guards and some other safety measures taken, but now it's just wide open. So I guess Attorney Payton can give us the legal aspects that are about to take place, and so we can know something, just point blank concerning the federal court case.
Yes, sir. In that case, it's set for October the 25th. It's my understanding it's the only case on the docket, so it will be tried. It's been a long, hard road for the owner of that property to get their insurance company in court to pay. They started out in Circuit Court of Jefferson County in Bessemer, and then it was removed to the federal court in Birmingham. So that's where the matter is. Our choice and your choice would be to continue with following through with the condemnation property, bidding it out and having the property, demolished, the structures demolished, and then placing a lien on it. But that's why I put those bid estimates though in your package. Mm-hmm. They're all around $450,000. So to do so, that's the other side of the sword, so to speak, on that one, that if you do condemn it, you do demolish it, then you have to pay $450,000 out of the general fund to demolish it. So I think since you are this close, let's see what happens in federal court with their case. The attorney has assured me that they do plan on clearing that property. It's it's a little over 7 acres of land. Mm-hmm. So I think it has substantial value. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to guess. And this is a guess. I'm going to guess it's worth more than $1.5 million. So I wouldn't think they would just walk away from them. If it costs $500,000 to take the structures down and clean the area up, I think it would still be worth it from an owner's perspective to do so. Right. Why they haven't done it to now, I don't know. Now, the attorney for the property owner says they don't have the funds to do it, but who knows? Right.
And I know you can't get rural money for that site, but that would have been another location to build a new hospital and kept it in the city of Bessemer. But anyway, since it's going out in the rural area for rural dollars, that's another horse to climb on. Yes. So since we're this close with federal court, is it okay if we just wait a couple of more weeks and see how this pans out before we and bring it back to our next planning session and talk about it, the results of that court case?
That would be my suggestion. I mean, gosh, we've waited 6-7 years on this thing. We were the last time we had a hearing on it was in the old city hall, so that was prior to February of 17. So I think we're this close. I would recommend waiting, and then let's report back at the next planning session. Let's see what happens and see what the status is. I believe the city could sell. I mean, if we had a lien on it, I think we could get it sold. It'd probably take a couple of years to do that anyway. So I would suggest waiting. Let's see what happens with this court action.
Yeah, and hopefully our business owners don't take another drastic, vandalism of any type in that area. But anyway.
Correct. I've heard the same exact complaints that you've heard. Those have been expressed to me also.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Councilor Crusoe.
Thank you so much. Attorney Payton, with I guess the procedure that we do normally with demolitions throughout the city on putting a lien on the property, is that one of our options as well?
Yes, ma'am, but the process we would go through, we would do that, and like any other piece of property, and we have not been leaning residential lots in the city of Bessemer, but you certainly have the statutory authority to do that. So you would condemn it, you would bid it, you would have the winning bidder tear the piece of property, tear the buildings down, clean it up like you would with a residential structure. It would probably cost the city general fund about $500,000 to do so. You would place a lien on the property, and then when the property's sold, then you would receive your money back.
Absolutely. It wasn't so much as the process that I was pointing out. It was just knowing that it's also an option for the city.
Yes,
That's all
ma'am.
I'm doing.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Alexander.
Madam Chair, Councilor Crusoe did expound on what I was going to say, and Attorney Payton, because I do know that we haven't been placing liens on residential homes. And I think we did discuss this before about an ordinance, about sitting around the table and doing the ordinance if we tear down a structure and placing liens on that structure. Because I remember when that place was really nice down there and they had a ballroom and everything. I love to see somebody get that place or the owners turn it around.
Yes, ma'am. My second job was down there when I was in 1974, I think it was. That was my second job down in there. So yeah, it was very nice. And the state legislature, there's a state legislative procedure for placing liens on property. So I'm not sure that we'd have to have an ordinance to do. So I think there's probably the procedure to do that's already in place. The reason in the past the city has not placed liens on property was we had a lot of these residential lots. No one was buying them anyway. So you go place a city lien on the property, then it just makes it that much harder for somebody to build. Now that's changed. The property in Bessemer is certainly increasing in value for ad valorem purposes, and it certainly may make sense to revisit that issue.
Yeah, I would think we would do something as a resolution or ordinance in the city of Bessemer. I would love to see something like that, because I did get a call last night about houses that's just sitting, structures just sitting and falling in. And I told Miss nothing we could do to the owner unless they sign an agreement for the city of Bessemer to tear the house down. And they asked, well, why can't you place a lien on it? And I said, you know what? I'll take that back to the council body today. So I'm glad this did come up.
So, Counselor, we do that. Consent isn't the only way we tear houses down. We have been noticing and bringing them before the council body, and you have authorized condemnation of houses, and they have been demolished and without consent. So that is a mechanism that is used also.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, counselors. Item number 15.
Discussion on Ruby Tuesday.
Counselor Matthews.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the same thing applies for Ruby Tuesday, except that building was vandal and burned or arson. And we are hearing the same sentiments from matter of fact, just about all of the adjacent business owners in that area concerning the eyesore that Ruby Tuesday have. And we did hear on last week about another I guess tenant was looking at going into that building prior to its burn. It's arson to take place. So does anyone, Attorney Payton or Matt Gully, have you all had any other discussion concerning the rehab, rehabilitation of this section that has been burned?
So Councilor Matthews, this is Shane again. We have researched the title. We wanted to find out who the owner of the property is. And it is in a trust. And that trust owns several other parcels of land down in there. So I don't think this is going to be one of those situations where the owner will just walk away from it, or it'll be there 5 years. But I certainly understand that is a concern. So I don't have any contact information on the trust yet. We will work to do that. The trust, it says it's the Alexander Alderworld Trust. And if you remember, the Alderworlds owned the hotel across from the hospital. I think it was a Holiday Inn originally, and sold that to UAB, but I think they own some more property in there. And so I'm not sure I can't recall if Alexander Alderworld is still alive. He was known as Lex Alderworld, or whether he's deceased or not, but we'll continue to work on finding who the owner is and what their plans are.
Yeah, please do, because as was somebody else trying to say something? Go ahead.
Councilor Matthews, and I kind of just wanted to add to that, even when it has come to Ruby Tuesdays or the Nights In, obviously, and so it's more than a notion to tackle and stuff that, but you know, when it comes to a lot of those properties, as you know, and so that they can all be declared and so a nuisance by the council body, and we go in and tear those structures and stuff down, and put a lien against that property and stuff, and that's at the owner's and stuff expense at that particular time. But obviously something like the Nights In and stuff, that would probably cost you almost $250,000 and stuff to tear down. But on the smaller structures like the homes, smaller structures and stuff like Ruby Tuesdays, and I know Attorney Payton can speak and stuff a little bit better than that, but they can be declared as a nuisance and taken down. And when the property sells or whoever decides to do whatever with the property, put that lien on there in the city, and so it's made whole. And so when somebody do something with the property.
Thank you, Mayor. And since we're gonna I guess look at the Nights In next planning session in next month, let's come back with the Ruby, if Attorney Payton look at Ruby Tuesday and see, investigate that a little more, and then let's kind of make a decision on Council Dawn. Will you mute yourself, Council Dawn?
I'm not speaking.
Okay, okay. No, it was some noise coming from somewhere.
Okay, but I'm not speaking.
Okay. No, it wasn't speaking. It was just some noise.
Or maybe I just need to close my door.
Okay. It was coming from your mic.
I need to close my door.
Okay. Yeah, let's bring this back next month so we can I guess kill two birds with one stone, see what the ownership of the Ruby Tuesdays, and see what the court has come up with for the old Nights In, and we can come to a happy medium then and go from there, if that's okay. That sounds good.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam President.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to let Mr. Hayden know that Lex Alderworld did pass away. They had moved to Gulf Shores several years ago, but he's been deceased several years. I don't remember how long, but I would say 5 years or more.
Do you have any contact information on them at all?
I can get in touch with them.
Oh, that would be great.
I think his ex-wife, I think we had listed a house over in Mr. Marshall's district at one time, and we probably have information on her.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, councilors. Item number 16.
Thank you, Councilor Pigpen.
Item number 16, please.
Discussion on shot spotter.
Counselor Matthews and Counselor Crusoe.
Okay, I yield to Councilor Crusoe.
Well, thanks again for placing this back on the agenda to be discussed. I brought this up quite some time ago, and when I made mention of it, we were told that we didn't have the funds. So again, we're coming back out of concern for the citizens here in the city of Bessemer on implementing the shot spotter. I think with us being in a little more financially sound position with the funds that have been granted, my question to you, Attorney Payton, would some of the funds that we received, could they be utilized as far as in funding the shot spotter?
Let me research that issue because I'm not exact. I know that there's can be infrastructure needs, but let me research that issue and I'll get back with you on that one.
Okay. May I ask you a question? Yes. From a public safety standpoint, is Chief Roper still on the call?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chief, in the Carriage Hills and also in some of these apartment complexes, especially Old Cedar Creek, drive-by shootings have started to escalate right on Carriage Hills Drive. Just driving down the road and running the stop sign, Royal Coach Circle and Carriage Hills Drive. And people may be walking or sitting outside, especially, in these kind of cooler atmospheres. Last week, it was just shots fired going down Carriage Hills Drive until they crossed the bridge and came around Carriage House Road. And then in the apartment complex, they just let loose back there. Just like it's New Year's Eve, and it's just getting outrageous on how gunfire has started to escalate in the community. So, from a public safety standpoint, my question would be to you, just how significant the shot spotter from your experience and hearing about them, would it give you a location or of where the gunfire is coming from?
Yeah, from my understanding, the shot spotter does give you a location of where the gunfire is coming from. And we are awaiting on the representative with shot spotter to set up a demo with us. Mm-hmm. So I haven't been convinced of shot spotter until I can get a chance to see this demonstration.
And when do you expect that demonstration to be? How long? In the very near future?
Yes, it'll be within the next 60 days or so. It was set up back some time ago, but of course, with the virus, when coronavirus came along, we stopped a whole lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm gonna be sarcastic, but it sure hadn't stopped this gunfire. I don't care how corona it has been. You could be sitting on your deck and you could hear nines go off right there in Old Cedar Creek apartments, and right there in the parking lot. And then you can see the movement of cars as if though someone is either they have did it or someone is trying to get away before they get popped, So, and it's happening quite frequent, at least 3 times a week. So, but I think what we need is some type of, Chief, you have some kind of literature, and I'll be doing some investigating myself to distribute so we could be knowledgeable of just what it entails, and you all can have, you as law enforcement officers can be firsthand, witnesses to how it's done. So I think that would be very helpful to this city. Thank you.
Councilman Matthews, if you set up a time and a place, we would be glad to attend it and share.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, Mayor and Chief and all, let's get together on this, because it's our folks' lives are at stake right here. And I don't know if you all know the Bentons out of Old Jonesboro, but one of Miss Louise Benton's grandchildren was at the Jackson Olin and Fairfield game, and that stray bullet went through his pelvis. And I know they don't mind me telling this. And he's coming along nicely now, but stray bullets just don't. The moral of the story is stray bullets just don't know anyone. So that's what we're trying to prevent. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Matthews.
Thank you.
Did I hear Mayor Gully?
Yes, Madam Chair. I just wanted to somewhat piggyback on commenting so that Councilor Matthews and Chief Roper and stuff has made. We'll definitely get with Chief Roper concerning shot spotters, but in our previous discussion, finances was never in such an issue. It was whether shot spotter and so would actually assist us, and if it would actually help us. Obviously, we know that when weapons and stuff are discharged, the perpetrators are not sitting around waiting and stuff on the police and stuff to come. They disperse the weapons and they move and stuff on. So it was never and has never been about whether financing monies was available and stuff to do it. It was about whether it would be productive and stuff to do it. So I do look forward and stuff to Chief Roper a meeting with shot spotter representatives and getting back and stuff to me, and we'll get back with you all concerning and stuff whether and so we believe that it is viable and stuff to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilor.
Madam Chair.
Councilor Crusoe.
Thank you. Well, I mean, if the shot spotter wasn't implemented, if it wasn't due to finances, then somebody lied to me. I definitely recall being asked where will we get the money from. We're not in a position to implement the shot spotter when it was initially brought up by me. Again, also, I'm sorry to hear that that's going on in District 6, Councilor Matthews, but welcome to the new norm. It's been going on over in District 7 for quite some time.
Councilor Alexander.
Yes, this question is for Chief Roper. Being that we're going to get the updates to the software at the incoming call center, do you think we can integrate the shot spotter? If so we won't be occurring another cost if we do decide to go with that?
Ms. Alexander, I think I still have to wait on that representative from Shot Spotter to see what their software is and see how compatible it would be with our software.
Okay, but will this be the new software? Have you looked already into the new software and what we're gonna go with and everything?
No, I have not gotten that far because, like I said, I need to know from Shot Spotter or from the company from what type of software they have.
No, I'm talking about just in general, because you said we were upgrading with the grant.
Oh, the upgrade is for the telephone system.
Right, for the dispatchers, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so when the shot spotter pick up, I've seen where I guess it goes straight to the dispatch center, to the to the headquarters.
Yes, ma'am. It will get an alert. Yes.
Okay, that's why I was saying, will our software be compatible? And have you researched some software and things like that? That's all.
Okay. I would.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Counselor. Who am I speaking with?
Councilman Collier.
Counselor Collier, go ahead.
Real fast, Chief. What does the ordinance say about shooting firearms? In city limits. What's the fine or the penalty you can get for that?
Councilor Collier, discharge the firearm in the city limits of Bessemer is a Class C misdemeanor, and it's kind of be up here to judge. The fine can be from anywhere from $25 to $100 plus court.
Okay, is it and this is Attorney Payton? Is it anywhere we could put a new ordinance in the city of Bessemer for a much harsher penalty? Discharging a firearm like that in city limits?
Again, let me research that issue. The state legislature has a pretty tight control over what ordinances can be adopted related to firearms by a municipality. But I know as far as firearm controls, they limit it. But as far as the shots fired, we probably could do that, but I need to research that issue also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, counselors. I did hear Counselor Matthews speak on stray bullets. And you're absolutely right, Counselor Matthews. I've had to replace the window in my bedroom because a stray bullet came through there from the housing unit there in Davis Heights. Had I been sitting up in the bed reading as I usually do, I would have gotten it dead center. So I would think, thank you, Chief and Mayor, I would think you all would let us do all that we can to see if ShotSpotter is what we need here in the city of Bessemer. Thank you so much. Item number 17, please.
Discussion on squatter.
Counselor Matthews.
That was me.
I'm sorry, Counselor Collier.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I knew Counselor Matthews made mention of the squatters last week. I'm sorry, Counselor Collier, go ahead.
Yeah, I put that on. I've been receiving, a lot of calls on that. I'm quite sure the other council people have been receiving a lot of calls on it. And this question is for Attorney Payton. Is there anything we could do or any type of ordinance we could put in place as a council to stop some of this squatter situation that's been going on in the city? Because it's heavy.
So I need a little more information. When you say squatting, are you tell me what they're doing?
So what's happening? A lot of these abandoned houses, people are going in. They unboard them when they board them up. They just living there. They running generators. We call, the police respond, put them out, and they still come back.
So adverse possession.
Well, adverse possession takes 20 years. So if a house is boarded up and somebody's in there, and I'd refer this to the chief, but that would be trespass. Now, especially if the house was posted, no trespassing, it would be trespass after notice. That would be a criminal offense. So I would think the police could arrest them for that. Now, as far as them coming back, if they do it enough, I would think one of the municipal judges would put them in jail if they were a repeat offender down there. But I would refer that to Chief Roper for a little more on that.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question to Chief Roper, because it was two situations. One was abandoned house, one was boarded up houses, and so I'm having both of these situations in my district. I know the other council members probably having in their district too, because it's all over the city. Chief Roper, could you give us some direction in that?
Councilman Collier, what we do, and like Attorney Payton said, we put them in jail, put them in jail. We just can't keep them in jail. That's going to be up to the judge. There's no fine increase for each time you're caught on criminal trespass. So what we do now also is we try to contact the owner of these properties and try to get them to take some part in this, because they can secure these houses a whole lot better so that these people can't continue to trespass. So that's where we are now.
Okay, Attorney Payton, if we had some type of well, I know that don't have nothing to do with it, but if we had some type of ordinance where these people who own these particular houses, is it some type of ordinance we could put in place as a council that you have to maintain your property in such a way, or the city could take control and do what we need to do, or that's something we have to still take through the state?
Certainly, I mean, you certainly could, and there's been talk about the body doing that, a landlord-tenant type of ordinance or landlord ordinance on property to make sure that these houses are kept up to standards. So you certainly could do that to make sure that they're kept up to code. I think it would be very difficult to force a landowner when a house becomes vacant to board it up, though. I mean, you can think of a lot of scenarios when somebody owns a house and so their mom or dad dies or something like that. I don't know that you want to create a situation where when there's a vacancy in a house that you automatically have to board it up. But there certainly are standards that you could put in force in effect regarding houses and the condition of houses to make certain that they are kept up and kept up to code.
Thank you, Councilor Collier.
Okay.
And you're
One more.
absolutely right. We have several, all districts are stricken with squatters in the district. Any other counselor?
One more thing, if you don't
Go
mind.
ahead.
One more thing.
Go ahead, Councilor.
Is there any way we could put this back on planning session to discuss what Attorney Payton just mentioned to the renters committee? We can put something in place to try to stop some of this.
I would think, Councilor Collier, what would do you best is that whomever the president is next term, you could speak with them and they can call a special meeting. And I think you'll get more results that way than, because you don't have the time here to discuss. I think if there's a special meeting call, that is time just allocated for that issue. And I think you'll get more out of that, Councilor Collier.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Item number 18, please.
Discussion on wildlife.
That's me also, Madam President.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Collier.
I should have did like Councilor Matthews said. I should have put an update on it. I think the last time I spoke about it, this is for the old Jonesboro, the Smith Highland area. With the wildlife up there, I requested copies of the contracts that we used last time about the wildlife. So whenever I can get the contracts, just pass it on to the whole council for we can review them and then we can discuss it more.
Thank you, Councilor Collier.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
Madam
sir.
Chair.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Along that line, I had called concerning wildlife, and I was told that in some form it was on the agenda. But speaking of wildlife, I did touch base on it. Was talking about pigeons in the Carriage Brook neighborhood, which the neighbors are very dissatisfied and adamant about a pigeon coop that sits right on the corner of Carriage Brook in the subdivision there when you turn off of McCullough Road, right there on the corner. It's a big gray pigeon coop. And it's my understanding that the person that used to live there is now deceased, and that the coop is locked and no one can gain access. And there have been some foul odors coming from that coop, coming from the resident. And there is a section in our code that says that that the coop can, I guess, be 30 foot from a lot line and all that. But if it's a nuisance to the masses of the neighbors in there, in the neighborhood, then that's something that needs to be demolished or torn down, because no one there now has ownership of the pigeons, to my understanding. Now, again, they have the residents. I have copies of emails that I guess I'll forward them to the mayor and city attorney, and they could be communicated to the building department and whoever else need to be communicated to. And I think the health department is going to be called or has been called. So, when it comes down to if the city needs to change its ordinance so the massive of the neighborhood not be affected by someone who says, well, I'm going to put this pigeon coop 31 feet away, 30 and a half feet, whatever, to stay in compliance. But at the same time, it's a nuisance to everyone else. I mean, we don't just, I guess, create laws for someone just to find a loophole just to make it fit them so they can do whatever they want to do. But have a lot of residents in the Carriage Brook area that's dissatisfied with this pigeon coop. So I'm going to be getting with Pam Seegers and the Seegers group and Carriage Brook residents concerning this nuisance that's plaguing them. And I forward these emails that I have coming from, I guess, Jefferson County Health Department, the residents, Bessemer's building department, and so forth and so on. So everyone will have just what I've received as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Matthews. But one question, do they not have a neighborhood association?
Well, they have been since COVID, it's been it hadn't been together, prior to COVID, they was having meetings, and the HOA was meeting, but now since COVID, they just doing phone calls and sharing emails. So that's about all that's been done. And the emails have been to the entities that I just spoke about. So, but to answer your question, they do have an association, AOH. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Alexander.
I just wanted to say I'm having a problem with that in my district as well. Goats and chickens, mainly up there on 9th Avenue on the Bessemer Superhighway. And I'm like, Councilor Matthews, maybe we need to go look at the ordinance. Also, our animal control, when do they run every day? Because we have a lot of stray dogs. And also I seen some pictures that Ms. Darby had posted on Facebook in a group, and it was some dogs chained. I'm talking about heavy chains. It looked like they were malnutrition. Do we have someone that's riding through the neighborhoods to look at things like that? Mayor Gully?
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
our animal control runs every day, with the exception of the weekend, and there's a situation they're called out and stuff on the weekend. Now, as for animals being chained, so forth and so on, I think it was Councilor Thigpen that asked and stuff that we sit down and take a look and stuff at our ordinance regarding how dogs can be restrained and how they should be restrained. And to my knowledge, at this particular time, we've had no such meeting. But our animal control roles and so all week relevant up to picking up stray animals and taking of them to the Birmingham Jefferson County Humane Society. Thank you.
Do they have a
Counselor Alexander, one moment, please. Mayor Gully, there was a meeting, and that was left in the hands of Attorney Harris and Attorney Payton. There was a draft, and we brought it back to the council. What happened is there was something that had to be changed, and there were several meetings. There was something that had to be changed on there. And there is still a draft out there. Yes, we do need to revisit that because there is still a draft. Yes, it was Counselor Thigpen, and we did act upon it. Attorney Harris did draw up a draft, and we brought it to the council and presented it to the council. And there were, if I'm not mistaken, 2 changes that needed to be made. And it was stated that Attorney Payton and Attorney Harris would get together and they would look at it legally and make the changes and bring it back to this body. But you all are absolutely right. We do need to look at it because I understand we love chickens and some of us love goats, but I don't want to come home each day to see chickens on my porch, eating my flowers, or even in my driveway. I don't want to see that. And counselors, that committee, whomever is the chair of that committee, please, when you get an opportunity, we can revisit that committee, and I would ask Ms. Coleman to pull that paperwork from Attorney Harris so that we can circulate it back around and we can sit down and make the necessary changes that we need to make with that ordinance because it is needed here in the city of Bessemer. Councilors, I would ask you all for a personal point of privilege. It's late, but Representative
Councilor Alexander was trying to get your attention.
Councilor Alexander, were you?
Yes, I was just asking the mayor. He said that the truck is out every day. I was wondering, do they have different days where they're in different districts or different areas?
Councilor Alexander, I really would have to get with street and sanitation. I have no idea of the animal control route.
Okay, is Mr. Hatter on the line? I thought I seen him on the line.
I do see him, but apparently he's muted.
Madam Chair, can I make a statement while we are waiting?
Go ahead, Councilor Crusoe.
Yeah, just a reminder, when we spoke concerning this dog tethering and wildlife, it was established that these was totally two different subject matters. So, I was just wanting to suggest that whenever the committee gets together, that we make sure that we entertain the both. As far as, like I said, with the dog tethering and with the wildlife, we had several complaints a while back in District 7 concerning goats and roosters and several different wildlife. So again, let's not forget that those were 2 totally different issues that both need to be addressed.
Thank you. Mr. Hatter has not unmuted himself. Councilor Alexander, will you please put that question or will you please put that question in an email to Mr. Hatter, please?
I'll send it to the mayor's office so they can send it to Mr. Hatter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, councilors. We have Representative Alexander here, and I'll ask that I make this 18A. She has brought some paperwork to us, and I've had Ms. Coleman to send it to each counselor, the mayor, Attorney Payton, Representative Alexander, are you in the counselor's chambers?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, and how are you?
Good morning. Good morning to the mayor and the city councils of this great city. First of all, my name is Representative Louise Alexander. I live at 2508 11th Avenue North, Bessemer, Alabama. I come before y'all today because as the governor signed bills and the bill comes down, trickle back down to us, I would like to get a signed copy in each and every one of y'all's hands. So today I'm bringing you Act number 2021-269. This act was already in force, but just to make it better and clarify to this body, to the mayor, the attorney into this body, this act and this law right here allows y'all it tells y'all that as far as your secretary or your assistant, that you all are in control of that particular person. The mayor is in control of everybody that's housed under the personnel board. So I want to make sure that y'all had a copy of this so that y'all can know the law and go by the law. It was a time that y'all was asking about who's over Angela, who's over this. So this law right here explains what the mayor is over and also what this body is over as well. I wanted to make sure that I come by. I'm headed now to Montgomery. We have to draw the maps again, finalize the maps because we'll be in special session. But I wanted to drop this one off. I have 4 more that I would like to put on the agenda for y'all next council meeting for y'all to have copies of those. One of those is for your land banking. Y'all need copies of everything that's dealing with Bessemer. Y'all needs to know what's going on in Montgomery that directly affect the city of Bessemer. So any of these acts and ordinance and stuff that has passed in Montgomery, I will make sure that I bring you copies so that each and every one of you would have a copy. Mr. Payton, how you doing today? I heard Mr. Jarvis asked a question about an ordinance. I did make a phone call to check on that about the fines. That's up to the discretion of the city council and the mayor here in this great city. Y'all can make ordinance to go up to whatever amount you want. I had my secretary and I did call the law office, the law people in Montgomery. They will email that to me and I will email it to Angela so that Mr. Jarvis, you could have that. Any questions?
Thank you, Representative Alexander.
You're so welcome.
For coming by and bringing this information to us. Of course, I don't have questions now because I haven't had the opportunity to read it.
Okay.
But if there's any questions, I will, if I have any questions, I will call and ask you about the questions. Are there any questions to the representative counselors? Any discussion? If not, thank you so much, Representative Alexander, for coming by.
Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great day.
Item number 19, Ms. Taylor.
Item 19 is a status of environmental services, fall janitorial service.
Councilors, I put this on. Of course, you know, we've been discussing this for quite some time. I've spoken with Mr. Falls and told him the things, expressed to him the things that needed to be done here in the city hall. And the majority of them have been done here in the city hall. Mr. Falls asked that we give him another opportunity to make himself, to clarify what he told us in the beginning is that he would stand behind his work. And I would ask this body if we could give Mr. Falls another year, and then we look at it again. And he stated that Mr. Falls stated that he promised that he will keep the city of Bessemer at his forefront. Thank you, councilors. Item number 20.
Discussion on District 1 through 7.
District 1.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I'd like to thank Chief Grover and the Bessemer Police Department for the job they've been doing over the last few weeks in District 1. Also, District 1 will be having a community cleanup from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. on the 17th. That'll be this upcoming Sunday. Anyone who's interested, please be at the Barley Park no later than 8:15. Also, District 1 will be having a community meeting at the Ebenezer Baptist Church that following Monday. That's 10:18. The address is 726 Fifth Avenue. Thank you, Madam President. I'll keep forwarding everything else to the mayor's office.
Thank you so much, Councilor Collier. District 2.
Yes. Any updates on when the employees will get their bonus, Attorney Payton?
That's not my department right there. So you
That
pass the ordinance.
would be Mayor Gully, because we're waiting on the personnel board. Is that correct, Mayor?
President, that is correct.
Okay.
And to my knowledge, obviously the Jefferson County Personnel Board, 3-member board has to approve it. They have not approved it and so of yet. The personnel board was supposed to meet and stuff today. I got a cancellation of meeting from them on yesterday. So as soon as that board and stuff meets, we'll make sure and stuff that our employees get that premium. But there's nothing that we can do until it's approved through the Jefferson County Personnel Board.
And when does that board meet? Does it meet monthly, weekly?
It meets monthly. Actually today was supposed to be the day that they met. And so but they canceled that meeting.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'll continue to forward to Mr. Nar's office.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a brief question to that statement. The cancellation of the meeting, was that the cancellation for the entire month? Are they rescheduling for the month? Or we just have to wait until November for this information?
The cancellation and so was until further notice. So I have no idea when they will meet.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
District
Madam
4. Yes, sir.
Well, I guess I'm a little disappointed in that, and I can imagine the employees may be disappointed to that as well, and especially when you have finances that's riding on a 3-member board that's supposed to have met today and they canceled the day before, and I hope it's something that's unforeseen, that they could not, something happened, that they just had to cancel it. And if they, well, I guess we probably just need to investigate and see just the merits of the cancellation and if they can, have a call meeting or something, because, to wait next month, I mean, some might happen then and it would be into 2022. I'm just saying, because, and I know it's a 3-member board, but at some point, there needs to be some business conducted. I mean, I'm not trying to beat up on them, but it's just, it is what it is. So, but anyway, thank you. I guess I think we need to do some investigating though, to see when the next meeting and how soon can they meet.
and or whether or not they can do a special meeting, a
Yeah.
special call meeting for not only, well, I would say for this particular purpose. I understand that it is a premium that we are giving the employees, but we have some employees that truly are in need. District 4.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I will continue to send my request through the mayor's office to Terrain. And I would respectfully ask that you review the tape from today and how many times you interrupted Mr. Marshall after you told him he could speak and continued to interrupt every time he would start to speak. So just asking that you listen to it so you will see why I said if you would just be quiet, he could speak, but you continued. So just out of respect, I just ask that you go back and listen to it and him trying to speak. I know sometimes there's a delay and you speak over people as they're trying to speak. It happens a lot. So just ask that you do that for today. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Thigpen. I listen to each meeting each week, sometimes twice per week, to make sure that I am doing what's right, not only by the citizens of the city of Bessemer, but by my fellow councilors. And yes, ma'am, respectfully, I will sit down in this office and listen to that tape. District 5.
Madam Chair, I will receive somebody's feedback. I'm okay now? Yeah, that's better. And I'll respectfully apologize if you think that I offended you. But, you know, it is very obvious if you listen at tapes, how many times one council person continues to interrupt me when I am trying to make a statement. It was evident last night, and it's evident generally in most meetings. I think everybody on this council has known me long enough to know that I'm going to speak what I believe to be the truth. And the truth hurts some people and upsets a lot of people. But I can't worry about that. I've got to speak what I believe is in the best interest of this city. And I believe that I do that on a consistent basis. Jealousy, animosity towards me gets you nowhere, because I'm going to continue to say what I have to say. I'll send everything else to the mayor's office that concerns District 5.
Councilor Marshall, let me be very clear and let me look directly at you. Jealousy and animosity is not housed here. Never has been and never will be. Now, when the other counselors attempt to step over you as you're speaking, if you look at the tapes, I will indeed ask them to allow you and whomever else is speaking to speak or to finish their conversation. And then I will give them the opportunity to speak. But all is well. There's no love lost, and we will still do what is best for the city of Bessemer. District 6.
Madam Chair,
District 6.
Madam Chair.
District 6. District 6.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know we talked about nights in and Ruby Tuesday, but you know, those are some of the little blight areas. But I must say it's very welcoming to see, on a positive note, Starbucks And when you get up, rise early in the morning and see cars wrapped around a building that's especially a business in the city of Bessemer, that brings me great joy to see how Starbucks and the people that wants their job, whether it's iced coffee or hot coffee, it's a nice feeling to see that hill just surrounded with cars, that building at least right there by Town and Country. But by observation, I noticed the horseshoe that goes around behind Chevron and Town and Country and comes back around to Milo's. It deserves some centerline striping, and at the foot of the hill, right there by Starbucks, that those turning arrows going straight to the interstate or you turn right is somewhat worn, and it would be nice if that would be restriped, and those arrows that going straight to the interstate to turn left or to turn right. It would look nice if that was cosmetically repaired. Because it's kind of confusing when it starts to where people be trying to get in and go to the interstate, but they need to turn right and go toward the Civic Center. And second, you all have seen the leveling of the old Applebee's, and I guess in the very near future, construction will start on the new Applebee's over off Academy Lane. And that in itself will be another establishment and eatery, because people may call some places food deserts and all, but Academy Drive is really going to light up when that is re-resurrected again. And lastly, the construction is going on over by Premier Chevrolet. I think it's the new new Church of the Highlands. So all of that is being constructed. But at the same time, when this construction is going on, there's slag and gravel that's being transported. So going up the hill to the high school, we need to make sure, whomever's over there needs to make sure that these trucks don't overload themselves, because when that slag starts coming off the side of those dump trucks, like it has been right there going up to Premier. And matter of fact, I got my truck service at Premier, and they were complaining about the slag and or dirt that's coming from the construction site. So everybody has a job to do. So let's keep in mind that. And I'll be forwarding some community issues, demolition of houses and so forth and so on from in the community, and ditch cutting to the mayor's office. Thank you, Madam Chair.
District 7.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had this conversation briefly with you, but with the paperwork being a bit extensive for this planning session, I asked that we put on the next planning session to discuss the lighting ordinance for the city. Also, for the planning session, for us to discuss, Jefferson County overseeing the municipal elections here in the city of Bessemer. As for District 7, I asked for Mary Gully, if you will, speak with John Street and Sanitation to pay a visit to Owen Avenue, Hall Avenue, Hall Alley, also that ditch right there that aligns the tracks up and down the was it Carolina Avenue. We could use some attention over in that area. Also, the ditch over on Clarendon Avenue, right there by Girls Incorporated. Gotten some complaints concerning that leads over back towards Fairfax Avenue. So if you will get somebody on that, we'll greatly appreciate it. Also, We briefly touched on it here today, but I've received numerous phone calls concerning the burn structures throughout District 7, particularly Owen Avenue. I rode Owen Avenue several times, and I know that there are like 4 or 5 burned houses there on Owen Avenue that some of them have been sitting for years, some here in the last year that has been burned. We really need to revisit our ordinances or implement an ordinance that will hold these property owners or renters to some type regards as far as in keeping, well, first of all, you're helping to beautify the city and also keeping it that way. So if you don't mind, the lighting, the election, and the others as far as with that I just made mention to Mayor Gully on getting some assistance we're here in District 7. The rest I will forward to the mayor's office. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilor Crusoe. District 3, we have forwarded some items to the mayor's office, but I did want to say this. Received a call again from Miss Dorothy Hayden, did go by to see what she was speaking of as it rained, and it floods her front yard out. The water is running from the street into her yard, and it floods that front yard out. She and her brother are disabled and they can't get out of their front yard. The water has caused the asphalt to erode. But she did make a statement that we had an employee to come and dig out with city's equipment, dig out his part where he lives or the property that he owns, but he did not dig out the entire ditch. I did send that to Mayor Gully and Mr. Hatter. Ms. Hayden has called this morning. If we can get someone out at 3105 Arlington Avenue to look at what the city can do to repair and help those disabled veterans out right there, would be greatly appreciated. District 3 will send everything else to the mayor's office. Item number 21, please, will be a motion to adjourn. I need a motion to adjourn this meeting, a second, and a roll call, please.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Everybody ready to go.
Okay, has been properly motioned and second that we will adjourn this meeting today. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
For Alexander.
Aye.
Councilor Collier.
Aye.
Councilor Crusoe.
Aye.
Councilor Marshall.
Aye.
Councilor Thickpan.
Aye.
Councilor Matthews.
Aye.
Councilor Donald.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
You all have a great week. I love you and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great week now. Bye-bye.